All right, today we're going to start talking about scatterplots. A scatterplot shows the relationship between two sets of data. We have our table over here, and it gives us two pieces of data. Our gasoline usage. So the two pieces of data we have regarding gasoline usage is miles driven and gas remaining. So looking at our chart, if you've driven 30 miles, you have 15 gallons left. 60 miles, you have 14 gallons left. 90 miles, 12. 120 miles, 10. 150 miles, 9. And we're going to graph that on, it looks like a coordinate grid. It's the same way as a coordinate grid. You go horizontal and then vertical, the x-axis and then the y-axis. So you graph it the exact same way. So we're going to take this information and let's figure out here, this is perplexing. Okay, so what information is going to go along the x-axis or the horizontal axis? Well, since it's already, the scale is already there, and the scale is what we're counting by, what our intervals are between each line. The scale here, 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 to 120, 120 to 150. So what are we counting by? Excellent, we're counting by 30. And on the y-axis, the vertical axis, it looks like we're counting by 2s, all the way up to 16. Now I drew these myself, so they may not be perfect, but it's the best I can do. All right, so we're going to graph these on this scatter plot. But first, the scatter plot's got to have a name. Well, obviously, since we're taking it from this same table, and we're putting the same information on this table, we're going to call this gasoline usage. And also we have to have titles for what the information on each axis is. So what information is along this axis? Based on the numbers, you should be able to tell that this information here is gas remaining. So we'll make this will be gas remaining. The information along the bottom is going to be miles driven. Okay, so we have gas remaining, miles driven. Then we're going to graph it just like we would. Our miles driven is 30. Our gas remaining is 15, which is going to be halfway between 14 and 16. Our miles driven is 60. Our gas remaining is 14. Our miles driven is 90. Our gas remaining is 12. Our miles driven is 120. Our gas remaining is 10. And our miles driven is 150. Our gas remaining is 9. So you can see on this scatter plot, it's pretty consistent. I would say there's a direct relationship between miles driven and gas remaining. Knowing if we drove 150 miles, we have 9 gallons left, we could make an educated guess, a hypothesis, using the data, that if we drove 180 miles, we'd probably have somewhere around 7 gallons left. And so a scatter plot shows this bit of information onto a coordinate graph. The differences are that each axis is going to have a title on it. So you know, and you're finding the correlation or the relationship between miles driven and gas used. Okay? I'll make another one here in a few minutes. Let me load this one up and see who was just calling me on my cell phone. Peace out. Love y'all. God bless you.